Hey, everybody. Welcome to the Daily Objective. And we've got a nice topic to talk about today. It's been a year since conservative commentator Tomi Lahren surprised a lot of people, I think, because up until that point, she had been kind of like part of this anti-feminist scene of like telling the feminists to stop complaining and everybody just, be feminine and you'll land a good guy. But here she is. She got on Instagram Live and had a bit of a meltdown, I think, or I don't know if you'd call it. I would call it that, but not everyone would. It's kind of like a list of complaints that I think turned a lot of her own audience against her. So it was an interesting thing to watch. It was reviewed on this channel at that time, but here we are a year later, and we got some thoughts to share, my guest and I. Please welcome. This is someone you, by popular request, is back. Has been on here before. Hostess of Flirting with Reason. It's Maria.
Hi, everyone. Thanks for having me again.
Good to have you here. So do you remember the video? Have you seen it recently? Do you have any thoughts, like any initial responses to Tomi Lahren's video?
So I'm going to start by saying that I didn't watch the video at the time. I had watched it a year later in preparation for this episode. And I didn't know who Tomi Lahren was until I started to research. And you know what? I'm going to start by saying, on the surface, I don't hate what she says. But I don't know how you want to run this, if we want to run through the list or watch the video. But what I will say is that I'm going to go into this conversation, not so much defending her, but like I said, not hating on what she said. I appreciate that by the end of the episode, you being you and having the ability to tie things with the larger concept of philosophy and being very well-spoken, you might change my mind and make me think about the video in a way that I hadn't before. But as a start, I'm going to go into this saying, I don't hate the substance. I don't like her delivery. But if we run through the points, then
I think we're going to agree more than not. I think the delivery is kind of my main issue. And speaking of philosophy, isn't it true that philosophy means nothing without actual content, without like real life? And this is a great opportunity for people to kind of, I don't know, just kind of like live in the real world, and then conceptualize what they learn, if that makes sense. Let's, why don't we actually watch a little bit of it? I'm going to share my screen.
Go ahead.
And let's see if this works. All right, everybody. Is it sharing sound? I think it will share sound. I'm sharing the screen. Hold on. Let me try that again just to make sure I'm sharing sound. Share sound. I had to select that. Okay, let's do this. Okay, so this was on Instagram Live. Here we go. Okay, right off the bat, I'm gonna pause it. There's that smile. Let's watch her break into it again. I got it. As a man, nothing gets me through the day like getting that look from a woman. I mean that's it's an unfortunate way for her to start the live stream, but it could just be that she's just, I don't know. We know what's coming next, so it looks like she's about to lose it. But other than that, I mean, people make faces sometimes, and it's not always indicative of larger things.
What's up?
All right, I'll skip ahead a bit.
A helper, someone who could possibly inspire people, for all the men out there and all the boys who think they're men, but they're actually boys. This is going to be the summer of canceling boys. Now, from my own personal experiences and the experiences of all of my friends, which range in age from 24 to 36, we've all got issues. Now, I will also say this. All of my friends are attractive. All of my friends are successful. All of my friends have something going on. Almost every single one of them have an issue with men. And you have to start looking at that and thinking, if an age range of that many people, including myself, living really all over the country and being blonde, brunette, short hair, long hair. I mean, tan, super white, super pale. I mean, these women range in every body type and everything. They're all successful, they're all intelligent, they're all good people. But if all of these women, including myself, are having issues, then I have to think it might not be us. It might be you. It might be men.
Yeah. So, I mean, maybe, but like, I don't know. It's, does that, I don't know. I guess we just keep going. Like, it's not a great way to brand yourself to the world, to say like, I'm having trouble finding a partner. Like, who wants to, it reminds me of, there was this guy, he was like a teenager or in his early 20s, a heavy set young guy, who like, he went viral with a video saying like, girls, you need to lower your standards. So yeah, I mean, that might be good advice for a lot of women, but who wants to be the guy saying, lower your standards and date me? It's like, who wants to get on the internet and announce like, my friends and I are having trouble?
Might be men.
Do you see what I'm saying?
Yeah, but what's the alternative? You know, to say there is no issue, women are having no issue finding men, and men are having no issue finding women, when the truth is the opposite. So, I mean, I appreciate how you say she's having a meltdown, and she, you know, she's on a warpath. She is all blazing. But at the same time, if, you know, she's clearly fed up. She says it herself. It took her she's been mulling over this topic for 2 weeks. So I think she is sort of, you know, impassioned because the topic is close to heart. I mean, conversations get heated. Is it a meltdown? Maybe. But is it a meltdown because she's a woman and women aren't allowed to have meltdowns?
No, it's if a guy showed this much anger, and in frustration, I think he would, I mean, he might get more applause from society, you know, from the public. So maybe there's a gender double standard as far as the public's response to this. But when it comes to actually what it is that she wants at the end of all this, which is to be found attractive by the men that she's interested in, this is very counterproductive, and would be with the man as well. If a man gets on the internet and announces he's having trouble finding someone, and women are trash, or many women are trash, and he shows anger in expressing this, it would definitely drive women away, I think.
No, I agree. And also, I mean, if there's anything that men hate, it's a list. So don't give a guy a list. And there she starts with a list of 5 points, and she is clearly, you know, like I said, she's on a warpath. So yeah, the delivery could be better. I agree. And to be honest, I'm surprised that it got 9,000 thumbs down over 2.7 thumbs up. I mean, it's interesting. But hey, you know, I might stand corrected at the end of this conversation.
You're surprised it got so many thumbs down? Like, you thought more people would like the video?
I thought more people would like the video.
Yeah. All right. I mean, okay, we'll get to the content of what she's saying.
Yeah. Now, I've often talked about the pussification of America and how men are no longer men. I talk to my mom about this a lot, and she says, well, maybe it's just the guys.
I'm playing it on faster.
In Texas. Maybe it's just the guys in Los Angeles. Maybe it's just the guys. It is not just the guys in Los Angeles, Nashville, Dallas, and they're not any better in the Midwest. They, quite frankly, I think they're trash all over this country. And the age range of about 20 to, I think, about 55, maybe even 60. A lot of men are trash. A lot of men don't know how to treat women. A lot of men don't know how to really, quite frankly, pull their heads out of the sand and pay attention. So I am going to help you. And these are some of the things that I've experienced, and these are some of the things my friends have experienced. I'm just going to lay a few things out. They haven't all happened to me. Some of them have just happened to my friends. A lot of them have happened to me. So the first thing, and I've made notes, by the way. I've made notes. This is how invested I am in this, because I've been thinking about this for about 2 weeks.
So, I mean, it's the delivery, but it's also just like who she is. Like, she just looks like a very, like she's trying to be in control of things that are not in her control. That's kind of the main thing I take away from this video. So I know, like, people, watching this around the world, I think, wow, she's so beautiful, she can have any guy. Well, the guys she's interested in are the question, and the guys she's interested in, they're looking at her, and they're looking at a girl just as beautiful who's not behaving like this. And, you know, who's the guy going to go with?
True, but is she not speaking for all the beautiful girls out there who feel that well, if we're going to run through the 5 points that she is talking about, who feel like there's some discrepancy, like the men and the women are just not understanding each other. And look, again, I don't think you're as bad as the guys and the girls that you date. So I feel like a lot of the time women bring problems onto themselves just as guys do. So nothing is like black and white. So I'm not defending her. I do, yeah, I don't like her delivery. But if we are going to run through the list, I think there is a way to look at the things and take away the fact that she's who she is and just look at the content. And yeah.
All right. All right. Well, you asked what's the alternative? I mean, the alternative would be to present like, hey, here's a good way how to get a girl. You know, there's a lot of these videos like how to get a girlfriend, or men, how to date with purpose, and from a woman's perspective. And of course, that would get a much more positive response. And, you know, do this, don't do this. But so that would be the alternative in order to kind of affect the culture a certain way. But this does seem like it's coming from a place of anger, as she admits she's having problems, and her friends are, some of them, having problems. So yeah.
Solid now. First question for men. If you like a girl, if you're even somewhat interested in a girl, you need to ask yourself this question. Are you single? No, I don't mean are you kind of single, seeing 5 people, dating somebody, still kind of in a relationship, kind of broken up, kind of on again, off again, kind of married.
So so there's the first item on the list. I mean, yeah, I don't dislike everything on her list. From what I remember, it was pretty good list of requests. So, I mean, that's a pretty reasonable thing. Like, be honest always with your status. Like, are you single or not? Are you seeing other people? That's what people should always be honest about. So looks like you agree with that.
Yeah.
That being said, I actually came across this video. I also didn't watch it a year ago, but there's a really popular guy right now named Kevin Samuels, and there's a lot of things he says that I think are like very materialistic, and I'll probably do a solo episode about him sometime. But one of the things he says to her, what he does is he speaks to women as though they're a collective. Like, if a woman, like, he'll tell a woman, this is what you wanted, like, because like feminists 50 years ago wanted something. But like the way he answers Tomi Lahren, he says, this is what you women wanted. You wanted a open sexual marketplace. Like, you wanted sex to be casual rather than keeping it, you know, much more like conservative and sort of saving it for marriage or something close to that. He says, this is what you women wanted. So now that, you know, men are juggling you and multiple other girls and none of them will settle down with you, like, this is what you get. Obviously, he's grouping women together when most women had nothing to do with shaping this culture. But any thoughts come to mind when I bring that up?
Yeah, I mean, I think she's probably, well, I don't know if she's doing the same thing, but I feel like the premise is the same. Again, you know, it's this like, you know, you all men are trash, and it's a clickbait title. You know, she got the reaction that she wanted. I don't think she could have called this anything else, being who she is and having the topic that she is discussing. But yeah, you know, it's this like antagonizing, doing the opposite, instead of opening people, like inviting people in, she is definitely pushing people away, which I guess is what that guy was doing as well.
Well, to be clear, this is not her video. She did not post this on YouTube. This is someone captured the video of her on Instagram Live. So this was a live stream she did. Someone else posted this and said men are, quote, men are trash. Tomi Lahren would probably prefer this would be scrubbed completely from the internet. But what do you think of Kevin Samuels' point that like having sex be much more casual and not being, you know, there's no like pretense of it being saved for marriage or anything like that? He kind of says like, this is the world feminists gave us. I mean, do you think he's onto anything there or what?
I mean, again, I feel like I don't like the blaming and the collectivizing. Like you said, most of the women had nothing to do with what's happening. This is, you know, not evolutionary, but like this took time. I don't know. I don't like it when people go like, well, you know, it's what you wanted, so that's what you got. And it's like, but is this what we wanted or is this what we got? So yeah, I think it's tricky. I don't agree with what he says, no, because it's like, yeah, it's not what I wanted, but it's what I got. But now you're making me think that is what I wanted and that is what I got, and I'm to blame.
Yeah, and like many people, he's kind of drawing like this dichotomy, like either sex is completely saved for marriage and that's it, or else it's a complete jungle. But I
Well,
mean, there
no,
is such a thing as people having standards and being kind of a little more selective and chaste, I guess.
no, exactly. Are those the only two things that we get? Like, it's either um, free love for all, or save yourself until marriage. Like, are those the only two options?
Yeah. All right. Well, let's keep going. I'll try to skip ahead a bit so we don't run out of time.
Kind of divorce. Are you actually single? That means single, understand. There are very few women out there, and I'm speaking from personal experience as well as from all of my friends and all the women, quite frankly, that I talk to. There is not a woman out there that wants to be your pen pal.
Okay. So she's saying stop texting all the time and make plans.
Okay. So here I come. Yes and no. I think communication is very important. And I think people, when your romance is still budding or you're kind of sniffing each other out, I think it is very important for people to stay in touch throughout the day, throughout the week. Do it as frequent as you want. You want to text. You want to call. You want to send letters via pigeon, do your thing. Leave voice notes. I think that's great. So the communication has to be like the constant communication has to be there. But at the end of the day, it means not that it means nothing, but it has to lead to something. You want to feel like this relationship is progressing. No one wants early onset arthritis in their thumbs from just the constant texting back and forth. But I think what she really means behind this is take initiative. Yes, the girl can make plans, but is that what you want as a guy? I've been told so many times as a girl to take a step back and let the man take initiative. So if he's not doing it and I'm not doing it because I'm not allowed because that's not feminine, how are you ever going to progress?
Well, I think the idea is that if a guy likes a girl, he will want to make plans. And
sure. But then if the guy doesn't like the girl enough to take her out or offer to meet up, why is he wasting her time texting? I think what she means is don't be a waste man, and don't, waste time. And it has to lead to something, because otherwise, what is the point?
Good question. What is the point? I mean, I think the first item on her list, which was, what was it? Be honest if you're single or not. And then this other one, which is don't be my pen pal and let's make plans. It kind of, it speaks to kind of a misunderstanding that sometimes people have, which is that like a lot of people, they're dating multiple people, not in like a double agent, CIA, like double life kind of way, but just they're going out on a date this day of the week and that day of the week. And they're basically circling back to multiple people and until it really still something sticks. So maybe that type of thing is taking place, and one of the people involved, and oftentimes it could be the man who gets hurt by that. In fact, I would think in most cases it is the man, because girls are in such high demand that oftentimes a guy might have high expectations where he thinks this is, we're exclusive, but it turns out they weren't. So I guess communication is a good thing to have openly, but along with that, maybe like neither one wants to seem too eager. Neither one wants to come off desperate, so they don't even bring it up. They just kind of go out on dates and they never raise like, oh, by the way, are you seeing anybody else? So over time, they could have like a disparity of understanding of reading the situation. So I think so. The first two items on here could be chalked up to lack of communication in many cases, and just the fact that like a lot of people they go on dates with multiple people, and in some cases are even sleeping with multiple people, and it's not meant to be dishonest. It's just they're just kind of dating until something sticks, and they choose to make it exclusive.
Well, sure, but how is it going to stick if you're just messaging or pen paling? I think, okay, so I guess, again, are those the two options? I either text a guy who's also texting 5 other girls, or I go on a date with a guy who's also seeing 5 other girls. I don't know. I mean, ideally, you'd be texting just each other and seeing each other, but I guess it's fine. Like, there's no issue with you not having all of your eggs in one basket. Like you said, you might be texting a couple of people, but then you're probably making plans with all of them. So otherwise, how are you going to choose which one sticks? I don't know.
I think, somebody meaner than me would say to like Tomi that she's just like, guys are just not that into her. Like the guys she's talking to are not that into her. So they're not making plans. So instead of getting on Instagram and announcing that men are trash, just stop texting men back who are behaving that way. And,
Well, yeah, so absolutely. And I think you've put that in a much better way. I think that I try to like put that message across as in maybe it's the guys that she goes for and and creates those problems for herself. There's definitely merit to that. I do agree that sometimes like women know what they're getting themselves into, or whatever. There are some red flags, or at least you find about the red flags later on, but you still kind of expect the man to, I don't know, only message you or whatever. But yeah, I do agree that just drop the guys that are behaving that way. That might have just solved the problem. So I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know either. There's a lot we don't know. There's a lot we don't know
well,
about her
situation.
Yeah, there's a lot we don't know about her particular situation, and a lot of things are just, you got to look at them case by case. All right, I'll skip ahead a bit more.
We quite frankly don't care if you text us all day or if you don't text us at all. If you're not going to make a plan to actually see us in person, not interested.
Again, like you said, the delivery is sort of the issue. Like, who wants to make plans with someone that speaks this way? And I know she was pushed to this by the way people treated her, but still.
And if you do have a woman out there that just wants to be your pen pal, it's probably because she has a boyfriend or a husband or a wife or what.
Oh, a wife? Is this the world the left has given us? I'm joking. All right, let's skip ahead a bit.
I personally, once I get home and I take my makeup off and I'm watching TV, I'm no longer interested. So if you didn't make a plan earlier in the day, or better yet, a day or 2 or 3 in advance, I'm not interested.
Yeah, I mean, a guy texting you in the middle of the night trying to meet up with you, then I would say just don't do it, right? Like generally, maybe it depends on if you're already in a relationship or not. But in the early stages, that's good advice for girls, right? Don't accept late night
Well, I'll tell you more. There's a lot of talk about how early, like what the lead time has to be between the guy asks you out and the actual date. I mean, I've heard some things like if he asks you 72 hours before the date, that's acceptable. If he asks you 24 hours before the date, that is unacceptable. So the jury's out. I don't know. I think it depends on your relationship with the guy and who he is as a person. Sometimes you'll get a complete D-bag messaging you 72 hours before. And sometimes you get a really nice guy who offers to meet up 24 hours before. People are busy. People have different communication styles. People don't seem too eager. So yeah, I don't know. But yes, I do agree. I mean, definitely don't go on a date with a guy if he asks you out on the night.
I mean, you're right. It is, a lot of things are case by case, but I think that's a pretty good rule, like 72 hours or whatever it is. I mean, and you could tell by the way somebody speaks to you if they respect you, what their intentions are. I mean, statement of intent is a big thing that people should have. They should be clear if they're looking for something very casual or if they're looking for something serious. Communication is not what it needs to be in the world, which is why I always say we're in the Tower of Babel. But again, somebody harsher than me would tell Tomi, look, if the only texts you're getting are from guys that are treating you like a booty call, is that something you want to advertise? Is that something you want to announce to the world? Or would you rather just delete the text and then keep on dating with purpose, trying to find somebody that'll respect you? So keep going.
Don't want to hang out anymore because that ship has sailed. Make a plan. I want to hang out.
We get it. All right.
There are a lot of women that are stepping up and saying these things and not FaceTime me, I swear to God.
The internet issues are also a big reason why communication is not what it needs to be. We need to get better. We need to get that 5G and then move on to 6G, I say.
I don't think that there are a lot of women that aren't raging feminists that don't look like Lena Dunham. They're saying these things to you, so I'm going to go ahead and say them because I need to be said. I'm really so sick of my friends having to deal with trash men. I'm tired of dealing with trash men, so I'm going to help you out. Make plans. So let's go through these lists again because I know y'all love a list. Number 1, are you single? Number 2, make a plan. Nobody wants a pen pal. We want to actually see you. If not, don't text us because it's a waste of our time and we don't want to see it on our phones. Got it? All right.
Got it? I don't like that. I mean, I'm just saying. Here, let me play it again.
We want to actually see you. If not, don't text us because it's a waste of our time and we don't want to see it on our phones. Got it? All right.
I don't like that. I'm just saying, I don't like people who speak that way.
No.
Right. Next thing, value.
Okay, this is interesting.
Okay, value. Take that in. Just repeat it to yourself until it makes sense. Okay, if you want to date
again, just repeat it to yourself until it makes sense. This is bigger than just she's having a bad day. This is the way she speaks, and it's not feminine. It's just not nice. You know, nobody should speak this way. It's just it's very modern. It's very bossy, and like I said earlier, trying to control things that are not in your control. People were drawn to serenity. You know, we like seeing people that are in acceptance of what's not within their control. But this whole okay, let me tell you, okay. So Tomi Lahren, she's so used to be owning the libs. She's so used to the audience cheering her on as she destroys her adversary in debates, that she thinks speaking that way here is going to get her what she wants, but it absolutely drives people away. So I know I'm sitting here in my armchair watching over the internet and judging. I get it. I wouldn't want to be judged forever for my mistakes or for my angry moments, but I'm just saying this is not a good look. Do you agree? Am I missing something?
No, look, yes, it's entitled. It's very, talking down on men like they're children, and she's the teacher. I'm going to repeat it one more time for the kids in the back, and I'm going to write this on the whiteboard so that you boys can remember. It's not attractive. Yeah, it's the delivery is off. So, and maybe the delivery then undermines what she has to say, which I think is not a good thing, because like I said, on the surface, like the things that she said, I don't disagree with the message that each one of her points has. And we've been elaborating a little bit more on those. But yeah, she's at war, and I wouldn't want to cross her. I'm a bit scared.
I wouldn't want to cross her. What's the which is one of the reasons I would avoid her altogether. She's now saying, don't group us with the Tatianas, she's saying. So there's some girls who, did I say it right? Tatiana?
No, so I thought.
Oh, Tatiana with a TH. Got it. All right.
THOT.
That
we
I
won't
was
be
saying
able to repeat what that means for the audience, but I think people should look it up themselves. And it's not a nice way to call a lady who is of a loose nature.
Oh, is that what she's saying? I thought she was just saying, don't group us career women with girls who all they do is tend to how they look.
So what is a thought?
A thought is that hoe over there. I know that, but I think what she's saying here, she's pointing out some girls, their entire life, their entire sort of purpose is to look as good as they can and be as sweet and as sort of desirable as they can, and to land the highest value man they can land and get married and have his kids. And Tomi Lahren, it sounds like, is saying, me and my friends, we've got, in addition to being beautiful, we've also got careers, and we work on ourselves, and we're ambitious, and please don't insult us by thinking of us in the same category as Tatiana's over there. That's how I read what she's saying.
Yes, but it's not just about don't group me with a girl who is pretty quiet and doesn't have a career. It's, a thought in itself is a negative way to call a lady who is loose. So she's like, don't group me with the thought over there, because she's just the one trying to, she's a loose one and I'm not. So it's not just about don't group me with girls who don't have jobs and who are pretty.
I take this as being that her main issue of contention is that she and her friends have careers, and they're insulted by the prospect of not being valued higher than.
But a thought is also a gold digger. So she's like, I'm making money for myself. I have a career, I have an ambition. I want the guy that's messaging me, the guy that wants to make plans with me, the guy that is eyeing me up as a potential partner. I want him to see the difference between me and every single other girl out there. And if he doesn't, then, that's an insult, because, you want to be singled out as for your merits, for your values. So if you're also messaging 5 other girls, that are all 5 of them that remarkable, I highly doubt it. And they might be, but they probably aren't. So I think what she says is, don't be the guy that doesn't see the difference. Don't be the guy for whom all women are the same just because they're women. Not every girl is a girlfriend material. I think that's what she says, and she wants the man to appreciate it. And I don't disagree with that. But I think for me, it's more like, if you find out that the guy is also messaging you and, well, 5 other girls, I don't know. I mean, that in itself is upsetting. But I think it's more, she has an issue with the fact that she doesn't believe that the guy can be messaging 5 really great girls at the same time. Because, I mean, who are you? So that means that he's probably messaging some other girls that she doesn't think are up to her standard. Is that entitled? Maybe. But yeah, I think it's more sort of, be the guy that can honestly judge and evaluate the girls that you're messaging, and don't group all girls together, I guess. I don't know. Does that make sense?
Yeah, but also like what it is that Tomi might not want to be thinking about is the fact that a lot of the men she's interested in are not interested in her because she's a boss. A lot of men, they are interested in what she calls a Tatiana. They're not all dumb as bricks, but a lot of them, they're not alphas. It sounds like Tomi's an alpha. That's kind of how I'm reading this. And a lot of the type of men who make as much money as Tomi, a lot of them, they're really not looking to marry a fellow alpha. They're looking for a woman who's going to support him, have his kids, stay at home with them, not be out and letting the kids be raised by a nanny. So that's kind of how I'm reading this, that like someone like Tomi Lahren and her friends, they're driven, they've got careers, they did that whole thing. And now they're kind of upset to see that just kind of very pretty and simple kind of girls are getting equal to or more attention from the men that that Tomi and her friends are interested in. That's how if that's true, then women will be damned if they do and damned if they don't. So exactly.
No, but that's the problem. Aren't you sounding a bit like Mr. Kevin Russell? Was that his name? Like
Samuels.
Like you wanted success, you got it, but you're going to die alone because no man wants an alpha. So now we're paying with our for our success with our solitude.
I mean, I think Kevin would answer, these are just what the statistics show. These is what men tend to choose. So it's not that I'm saying I don't want an alpha. It's that I'm saying the men that Tomi is interested in might not necessarily be looking for someone as equally driven career-wise as himself. He might be looking for someone who's more just focused on being a first lady, which is not an easy thing, by the way. I would imagine it's a lot of work to be poised and agreeable and to have kids and all of that, So, but that is what a lot of people are looking for. So that's a certain aspect to this that maybe is not pleasant to hear. But I agree with what you said, that women are damned if they do and if they don't. I mean, I used to think like, oh, being a girl is so easy. You get all this attention and all these opportunities. You get a leg up in many cases. I don't really think so anymore. It does seem like you have all these conflicting expectations from the world. And on one hand, the world is saying, like, people are saying, yeah, what the life you want, the career you want, the passion you want, go for it. On the other hand, it's like, but also a lot of men are not going to be interested in you if you're not going to, marry them when you're young and have their kids. So I've become quite the simp in that I respect, I'm sympathetic to the plight of women in the modern world.
I mean, I don't want to sound like I'm, like victimizing me, like, oh my God, we have it so hard. But, like you said, there are conflicting things. Like you have to be, well, ideally you're everything at the same time. You're alpha, but you're also maternal, and, you're also like sweet, but you're also a bit of a badass. Like, but how can you be all those things at the same time? So, yeah.
Yeah, it's not as easy as it looks, I guess. Do you have time to keep going? I know you had a bit of a time constraint. All right, we'll keep going. I'll try to.
A girl that has nothing going on, then that's fine. It is. But if you want to mix in people like me and people like my friends who are go-getters, who work really hard, who make their own money, who are talented, skilled, ambitious. Please don't mix us in with the Tatianas.
Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, personally, like I like what she's saying here in that, I mean, at the end of the day, I'll say that phrase a lot, at the end of the day, what keeps people together, I would imagine, is shared values. It's not just that it's a good arrangement, right? It's like you got shared values. You're both driven in your various fields, even if one of the spouses is not actually working. Let's say she's a mother and a housekeeper. That there's still a way to be driven at that and to be working on herself in other aspects. So bottom line is what keeps people together, I think, is like each one of them independently having that drive. I'm for it.
Going through the motions of life, not really super ambitious, hasn't really found herself something going on. Those women out there are going to be a lot more.
I probably come off a little bit sexist the way I keep saying, all right, and I skip forward. So I would like to apologize to all women for that.
Fulfilling to you, you're actually going to enjoy your time. And if you actually might want a sustainable and healthy and stable relationship, that's probably the kind of girl you're going to need to find. Not the Tatianas who just want to look cute and post Instagram stories. Now, I love a good Instagram story. Y'all know I do. I love a good boomerang. I love a good whatever. But if that's all you do, men, if that's all she does, probably Houston, we have a problem.
Okay, again, I know we can harp on her delivery all day.
Just gonna all she does.
I'm playing it again here.
Probably Houston, we have a problem.
It's the
just
squinted
gonna let
eye.
you in on a little.
It's the judgmental squinty eye.
Sarcasm. Again, it's great for debating the left. It's great for owning the libs and for becoming a viral sensation, but this is not the best way. I mean, if we've learned one thing if I've learned one thing, and probably the objectivist movement has learned one thing, it's that confidence looks a lot better than going for the jugulars. I'm getting a nod.
Absolutely. I don't disagree.
All right.
Tip. The next thing on my list is this: consistency. It really does not help me or my friends or any woman in general if you are really cool and you're really interested when you first start talking to them, and then give it 3, 4, 5 days, and all of a sudden you're not consistent anymore. You don't make plans. You don't really care. You kind of fade in and out. You're talking to 5 other Tatianas. Consistency is important. Now, if you want to be inconsistent and you want to ghost and you want to fall off the radar, that's fine, but I'm going to give you a pro tip. People like me and people like my friends, we aren't going to really give a shit after that. We don't really care.
Then why make a video about it? I mean, that's the thing. Like I keep coming back to, it's like people who are confident, they don't need to then tell you about how great they are. And if they think certain men are trash, they just brush it off and move on to better things. But but that being said, this is good advice. I mean, these are good fair requests that Miss Lahren is making. So be consistent, she's saying. Be consistent. Don't ghost us. Or what exactly is she saying? I mean, okay, is there a way?
I think that's what she's saying. I think ghosting is part of it. Like, if you are genuinely interested and, like, keep it up. A lot of the time, relationships at that initial stage, they're all like, super kind of not hype, but like accelerating, and then they plateau or completely go down. I think that's what she means. Like, if you're interested, keep it up. But look, at the same time, maybe the guy was interested at the beginning and now he's not. Like, you're allowed to not be interested in the person anymore. But I think her issue is more about like the ghosting, and it's more about like, if you're making effort, like, keep it up. Don't then stop making effort. And worse even, don't ghost and then come back, expecting the woman to like take you back.
Mm-hmm. By the way, I'm being yelled at in the chat saying, like, don't apologize. Like, he took my statement as like, I apologize to all women, like very literal. So I will double down and say I apologize to all women, past, present, and future. Quick super chat. Sammy's board again for 99 cents. Pence, rather. Thank you. Mary Lean, $2. Quote, I've been thinking about this for 2 weeks. Deep. Mary Lean again with $5 says, but it won't always lead to something. You don't get a guarantee. Be honest, be kind, ask questions. There's that wisdom. And then she adds with $5, she makes it sound like relationships are a collective endeavor. And then Kathleen with £2 says, have some money. I don't know what's going on. Oh, like Kathleen is sending us money saying, have some money. I don't know what's going on. Exactly. If anyone's confused, please just send us a few dollars and we'll take care of the rest. All right. Just see what else is on.
Interest, and maybe you were cool, maybe you were kind of fun to hang out with. But if you're not consistent and you fall off the radar, I give you maybe 1 to 2 chances to fix that, because I'm a very direct communicator. Women, this is important. I will communicate to you. If your communication isn't great, I will.
Yes, be a good communicator, but there's a way to say everything that it gets you what you want. By the way, we talk about ladies and men and communicate well. This is all to get you what you want. Nobody's trying to tell anybody to sacrifice anything, right? Like, this is about getting what you want out of the other person. So there's a way to communicate. And the question is, like, how do I get this other person to do what I would like them to do? It's a little bit manipulative. I'm being a little, I'm joking, because it's not. It's a team. It's a partnership, but you are trying to get them to do something. But you want them to want to do it, because you kind of want them to feel that it's the right thing to do the same way you do. Any thoughts?
No, it makes total sense. And you said it very well. I mean, ironically, she says communication is key, and but communication is important, but obviously her delivery, her own communication is not winning her any, not doing her any favors.
All right. I think we got one more.
So let that be a warning to you. You're probably not going to circle back. They always come back. They always come back. But when you're ready to you're probably not going to circle back. They always come back. They always come back.
That was the part that confused me. She says, you're probably not going to come back. And then she says,
circle back. They don't care anymore. So let that be a warning to you. You're probably not going to circle back. They always come back. They always come back. But when you're ready to come back, I probably don't care anymore. So if you want to switch up, stay there. Pro tip.
That pro tip, again, it's great for internet ponage. It's great for being condescending over the internet to the left. But how does this actually make her seem
feel like there is a specific man in the audience to whom she is talking, and she's like, it's like a, telling a child.
Yeah, and then she came back the following day. Let's see real quick if I could just pull it up, just so we could, maybe it's, okay, just real quick. I know we're running out of time here, or we're long out of time.
I believe it was Monday night, who watched my PSA for boyish men. It has since gained a little bit of traction. I also posted it on Facebook, and I think a little bit of talk. I'm not used to that. I'm very used to it. But I did want to clear a few things up about that video and just expand on it a little bit, because that's always important. You can't ever say every praise, a lot of criticism. So I figured I'd just go through some of them.
So anyway, this is her apology. Obviously we can't sit through the whole thing, but she looks just as like kind of, what's the word?
On a warpath. What's the verb for that?
What's the word where like you're standing up against criticism and you're not like
standing up against criticism?
Yeah, but there's a word for it. But anyway, resilient sort of, but indignant. There's a word, indignant. Yeah, she looked just as indignant in her apology video.
That video was homophobic. I don't think it was homophobic in the least. I can't even with, or I'm just friends.
So this is the video that really makes me, it really kind of locks in my opinion of her, because if this is her after 3 days to cool down and she's still this kind of tough, I mean, that's why she's having a hard time finding somebody. I hate to say it, but that's why. Is that good for you, Peter, in the chat room? Am I laying down the hard facts for the ladies now? Is that cool? He's like yelling at me, "Stop being such a simp," he says. Imagine using that kind of language. All right. Anyway, any other thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, if you're going to apologize to some, well, I don't know. I mean, if she's apologizing, she's trying to clear the air. I think the problem is, well, she is who she is. So she is, all like blazing, and she's very fiery. That's true. I don't think that she could be soft and calm in whatever topic she would be discussing. Like, she is how she is. I guess the issue with her apology is that she is dealing with a different problem now. So first she was dealing with, men that weren't up to par, according to her. And now she is dealing with people who are telling her off for telling the men off. So it's a nonstop loop. But yeah, don't be a Tomi Lahren in your delivery, for sure. Some of the things that she says, like we said today, we don't disagree with. There's a way to communicate them. And like at the end of the day, that's exactly what you said. You know, you're trying to make the person that you're interested in do what you want them to do, but you also kind of want them to do it on their own, you know, just to come up with it themselves. So yeah.
Yeah. And even, you know, even putting it that way might not be the best way to put it. You're trying to get two happy people to do something happily and to build something together ultimately. So
well,
that
yes,
means,
and sorry, I just interrupted. But
Please.
I guess so the fact that she has the list and is, you know, doing the whole like piece to camera, I feel like she's already talking to people that don't have the interest in each other. Like the whole puzzle is off in her. Yeah.
Yeah. By the way, I just found out the audience couldn't see you when we were looking at that video. So I apologize to you, of course, and I especially apologize to the audience who would have rathered see you during that time.
Thank you.
Well, the good news is we'll have you back hopefully soon. And, you know, and to people in the chat room, I hope you enjoy this. Thank you for the super chats. Peter says to me, yes, I object to your language. Deal with it. I will deal with no such thing. How's that for assertive? How's that for masculine? I will not do what you tell me. Please, everybody, watch this episode back. Try to sort through the sarcasm at times and take something positive away from all of this. At the end of the day, we're here for positive reasons. Positive purposes. Coming up at 7 UK time, which is 2 Eastern, James Valiant on Alan Greenspan's essay, Gold and Economic Freedom. So the essay by Greenspan, which was published in Capitalism, the Unknown Ideal, is going to be discussed by James Valiant. And thank you, Sammy is bored again with the super chat and the picture of the black cat. Thank you so much for being here, Maria. We hardly scratched the surface of everything we could have discussed. And even with that being the case, where did all the time go? We stayed here almost twice as long as we were supposed to. Don't you love when that happens?
Time flies by when you're in good company, when you're having fun. So thanks for having me on.
Thank you. And thank you all for joining us today. See you back here tomorrow for the Daily Objective. And I'm jumping over to Clubhouse. And goodbye.